It is never a good feeling when your dogs escape from your yard, especially when your gate has blown open and you don't have a lock on it. Hi everybody, it's Mena. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the very first video that you're seeing of me, then welcome to my channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you didn't already. I post every day except for Tuesday and Friday afternoons sometimes, and today in this video I'm going to retell you guys the story about how all of my dogs escaped from my yard. So I made this video about 2 years ago, like when COVID first hit. And that video is horrible quality, so I'm going to redo it, and I'm filming on a much better camera now. At that time, I was filming on my webcam, and if you want to see that video, I'll leave the link in the description box down below, so you guys can check it out. It is terrible quality. My voice sounds terrible. And I wasn't sick when I filmed the video, but it sounds really weird because that was filmed on a webcam at the time. And now I have much better editing skills. I thought I'd redo this video so it would be much better. So today's story is a retelling of a time how all of my dogs had escaped from my backyard because my gate had blown open. So this is a story just to let you guys know to act fast when you notice your gate blows open and your dogs are not in your house. So I'm gonna get started, and I hope you guys like the video. So this all began about 13 years ago. I had come home from school. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was about 17 years old, and it was a pretty good day. It was slightly windy, but not too windy. So it was maybe like mid-May or near the end of May. I was at home one day and I suddenly heard a latch open, and it was my backyard gate. So I go out to the back and I look and I notice my gate is wide open and my dogs are not in there. All of my dogs are gone. At that time, I had an Akita Newfoundland named Mr. Knucklehead. We named him that because he took our socks. We had an English setter named Rex, and then we had 2 Boston Terriers, Gabby and Pearl, which some of you guys, if you've been longtime subscribers, are familiar with. Gabby and Pearl have appeared here on my YouTube channel. Sadly, Pearl had to be put to sleep in 2015 due to a brain tumor at the age of 12, and then about in April of this year, we sadly had to put Gabby to sleep because of old age. So yeah, so all of my dogs have completely escaped. I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, the gate is wide open and the dogs are gone, blah, 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 blah. And I was very worried because my English setter we had at the time was completely blind and he could not even see anything. So my mom's like, find the dogs, blah, 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 blah. So I run across the street to go and get my neighbor. And I said, I need help. My dogs are missing, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, calm down. We'll find the dogs. So my neighbor goes with me to go find the dogs. And luckily all 4 dogs were up the street. So we grab them. I pick up Gabby because she's really small. And then I get Pearl's slightly heavy. Well, my neighbor had to help me carry Pearl because she was slightly heavy, and then we ended up grabbing my English setter Rex by the collar and Mr. Knucklehead by his collar too. So we get them all back to the house, and once we get back to the house, we get inside, and then my neighbor tells me to keep the dogs in the house until he gets the gate closed. So we didn't know where my mom had stuck the lock. So I called my mom, told her we got all the dogs in, and I didn't want to let them out until the gate was locked. And I was trying to figure out what we could use to lock the gate because I didn't know where my mom had left the lock for the gate because she took it off so then my neighbor could go in my backyard and... Sorry about that. So then my neighbor, sorry, I heard a noise and I didn't know where it was coming from. Anyway, so my neighbor could put the dogs in. dogs in. So I asked my mom, do you know what we could do? She goes, I have the lock, blah, 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 blah. I don't know where it is at the moment right now. Can you use something else to close the gate? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so thank you. So we're trying to find something to use to close the gate. My neighbor picks up this gardening tool that my mom had. It was like a kid's gardening tool. And we stick the gardening tool in the gate so then the dogs don't get out. And once we did that, the gate was complete. We did a test to make sure the gate would stay closed, and it was completely closed, and I was so relieved. So I thank my neighbor for all his help because he was super nice and helpful. And he's like, of course, blah, 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 blah. If you ever need anything, please let me know, blah, 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 blah. And so I was so relieved that we were able to get all the dogs back in. So once the dogs were all back in and the gate was securely closed, I let the dogs out into the backyard so then they can go out and have do their business or whatever they needed to do. And I was so grateful that they were all safe and sound. And I told my mom all the dogs were safe, and I called my mom, told her the dogs were safe, and we got the gate closed. And she goes, oh my gosh, thank you, blah, 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 blah. And we were just super worried because we felt so bad about how all of the dogs escaped from the backyard because we just did not expect them to get out. And I was lucky that my neighbor and I both worked together and we got the dogs. So the moral of the story is, when your dogs escape, act as quickly as you can, especially if you have a blind dog and you don't want them to get hit by a car. So just do your best to find the dogs, run out and get them all as quickly as you can, and think of a way to lock the gate. If you have a spare lock somewhere, put it in your gate. But if you can't seem to find your spare lock, the backup thing you can do is use something that you can stick in the gate, whether it's a gardening tool or maybe like some kind of clamp or something. Just get anything you can to close your gate so then your dogs don't escape, especially if it's super windy because you don't want your dogs to get out. And you should be mindful, especially if you have a dog that is old or going blind, because you don't want them to get hit by a car. So that was a story about how all of my dogs got out and I had to go get them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I post every day except for Tuesday and Friday afternoon sometimes, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.